Okay. Show me.
Hi there guys, welcome back to the Dutch ST channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you follow my channel, you know this here airplane. I've recently done a couple of videos on it. It is the Esky Eagle 1100mm pusher bush plane with landing gear, as you can see. Very nice plane, and I ordered me that plane to FPV it. Now, to that I have to add that I don't intend to do long range or missions. I'm not going to be installing a flight controller in this airplane, but obviously I will add an FPV camera and an FPV transmitter to it. So let's have a look at which I've chosen for this airplane, and in this video we'll see how well this setup works. Oh, and also it is a very easy setup to add to any plane. As you'll see, super easy to set up and use. Alright, here we go. Hartstikke, I've got two boxes over here. Both are from Runcam, as you can see. And if you are unfamiliar with FPV, I guess it makes sense that you need a camera and something that transmits that video signal to the ground. And that's where this second box comes in. Well, the box says transmitter. Yeah, okay, can't make things much clearer than that. And this is the also a Runcam TX-200U. The box actually says TX-200, but in fact it's a TX-200U. There was previously a TX-200, and well, there's only a small difference. If you already have a TX-200, so the old version will work just fine, for at least for this setup. And the camera I've chosen is the Runcam Micro Eagle, which is not the cheapest camera around. It is arguably the best micro FPV camera. In my humble opinion, of course. I will have a link up here to my review. I did a review of this camera a while back. And well, I love these cameras. These are great cameras. And it's a micro camera, but it has the same sensor and lens size of bigger FPV cameras. And it's the only one of its kind, basically. And again, yeah, not the cheapest camera around, but one of the better cameras, and especially in the micro range, the best. In my humble opinion. It's not a review this video is more aimed at showing you how to FPV something. But again, if you want a good camera, okay, let's see what we have in these two boxes. Hartstikke. Two boxes, two packages, one camera and one video transmitter. And that's all. We'll actually need one more thing, and that is a servo lead. More on that in a second, but this will power our FPV setup. And okay, so the camera comes with a mounting bracket, aluminium mounting bracket, which you can use. A cable harness to hook it up to the VTX, the transmitter, and you get this control board. So what is that for? Well, this camera can be set up. You can change the saturation, for instance, the shutter speed and such. So if, for instance, you generally fly at daytime, but at a certain point you'd want to try flying in the evening, you might want to change some settings in this camera. And that you can do with this control board. Okay, and the VTX also comes with a small little cable, which we will probably not need. Well, we could use that cable to hook it up to the camera, and some screws and such. So what are these screws for? Well, you can actually piggyback the VTX to the back of the camera like so. And I won't be doing that. I want a little more airflow over the VTX, not unimportantly. And that's something you will need to keep in mind. Video transmitters of any kind tend to get warm. Depends on how much power you set this VTX to. It can run on 25 or 200 milliwatts, and obviously at 200 milliwatts it will get warmer. Okay, so and if you run it at 200 milliwatts, you want to make sure to have some airflow over this VTX. It will not thank you kindly for not providing any airflow, having it be too warm. Okay, let me see. This VTX has basically two sets of wires. This one on the right is to power the entire set, so the VTX and the camera. And the wires on your left are firstly to power the camera and to relay the FPV image from the camera to the VTX, right? And this green wire over here, we won't be using that. If you'd want to use this VTX in, for instance, a quadcopter, a multi-rotor, you can control the settings of this VTX via this green cable. You solder this green cable to your flight controller, and then you can set the output power and the frequency of this transmitter, of this VTX, with your flight controller. Okay, so we'll be installing this set in an airplane without a flight controller, so this green wire we will not be using. You could potentially clip it off. And what you can also see over here, the FPV antenna. This is a pretty simple antenna, right? You might have seen very elaborate mushroom-like FPV antennas. Well, this antenna over here is strapped to the board with this connector, this goldish connector, which serves two purposes. If you damage this antenna, you can replace it, or you can upgrade it with, well, any kind of FPV antenna. And yeah, that will provide you with a better reception. Depends a little on how you fly, how low to the ground you fly, if you fly behind trees. I will not be building a long range FPV setup, and for me this works just fine, up to say a kilometer. So, in case you're wondering, if you have a good receiver, this will work out just fine. So I won't be changing anything on this set. Okay, so and this cable over here, this red, yellow, black, will simply hook up to your camera. Let me see. Like so. Yeah, like so. So all you really need to add is power, and that needs to be up to 5.5 volts, no higher. The camera can handle more than 5 volts, the VTX can't. So what I'll do is I'll take a servo lead, such as this one, and I'll clip off one of this one. And I will solder the red and the black strand of the servo lead to this wire over here. Right? And then I'll simply hook this servo lead up to my receiver. And that's all you need. That'll actually work. Yeah, trust me, I've tried it several times. So yeah, this setup is obviously very simple, and it'll work. So simply, well, yeah, you'll need to do some soldering, and well, after that you just hook this cable up to your receiver, and presto, you have an FPV setup ready to go. Okay, and well, if you are left with questions, hit me up a comment down below, of course. But I'll go ahead and install this set in my airplane, and then we'll meet each other again on the field. For you it'll be a couple of seconds, and for me it'll take well, maybe half an hour to mount the camera, and that's about it. Yeah, okay, so in a couple of seconds we'll test this setup. Here we go. Alright, and done. We've got ourselves an FPV camera in the wing of our Esky Eagle over here. And well, I'm gonna try and fly it, of course, FPV. And let me see, yeah, I've put it in the wing, mostly to prevent hangar and transport rash. If I put it on the wing, which would probably be, well, that would work out just fine, I guess. But then the camera would be out in the open, looking for damage, more or less, if you know what I mean. So a couple of things of note. I am right next to some power lines over here, as you can tell. And I really don't know if those will interfere with my signal in any way. I will of course have to also be mindful of the power lines themselves, but that's okay. I can fly over this field over here, that's not a problem. But yeah. Okay, and that's about it. So I'm gonna put a LiPo in it and let's see if this works, if this is an enjoyable way to FPV fly. Here we go. Okay, so the benefit of an airplane like this is of course that you can take off and land FPV, right? You don't have to toss it and then put on your goggle. I hope that makes sense. And okay, let's try a takeoff. I've never taken off with this airplane, FPV obviously, but well, should be alright. Ooh, we got a lot of wind. Ooh, yeah, that was a lot of wind. I'm pretty sure you were able to see that as well. I had to steer to the right violently with my rudder, and yeah, that did work out. But okay, so we're now FPV flying obviously, and that works out so far. I'm making circles, as you might be able to see. To check my range, right? I'm taking it out a little further every time. I am approximately 30 to 50 meters up. And that building straight ahead of us is approximately 300 meters to, well, yeah, 300-400 meters away from us. What you can see is that this plane really isn't fast at all. And I forgot to show that to you, but I'm using the stock antenna that came with that TX200U video transmitter. So not a cloverleaf antenna, but well, so far so good. I can see the effect of that sometimes in my reception, so yeah, maybe I'll upgrade that antenna on the airplane. The airplane itself though is, as always, super duper easy to fly. It is very forgiving. It always is. Yeah, it's probably good to add a circular polarized antenna on the airplane, at least if you are running circular polarized antenna on your goggle, which I am, as you can see. I will probably land on the field here, in the grass on the field, because this landing strip I have here is pretty short. And I had expected the takeoff to be easier because of the wind direction, but it wasn't.
4 minutes.
What is that white? Oh, that's a truck over there. Okay. Yeah, it is windy, but it's most times it's windy in the Netherlands. And one thing I was wondering was if that the canopy in our bottom left of the screen would interfere with me seeing things, but it doesn't. Not really. I had kind of tested that with the HD camera, right? Which is on the other side of the canopy. Doesn't really matter. Now what bothers me most now is that the FPV feed sometimes looks a little weird, and that's probably due to the antenna on our airplane. I've never seen this kind of interference, to be honest. It does look weird. Okay, I'm gonna take it up a notch and see what gliding with this airplane looks like. And I'm gonna take it around to glide it into the wind. And I'm gonna cut the throttle. There we go. We are flying a dead stick. I am pulling the elevator up a little bit. Yeah, the nose drops if I don't. But well, we slow down to a walking pace, as you can see. There is no stalling whatsoever with this airplane. Yeah, it's really this airplane gets a huge thumbs up from me. Really, even if you don't want an FPV, it is super duper easy to fly. But as an FPV platform, there is not a whole lot of room in the fuselage if you want to add a flight controller and a GPS and such. But for a simple FPV airplane, the way I'm flying it right now, it's kinda ideal. You can take off and land on its wheels, you can throw it. You could of course opt to remove the landing gear entirely. Make it a belly lander. Ooh, there was a lot of interference. Yeah, maybe that interference we've been seeing is due to those power lines behind me. I just don't know. But if you can fly airplanes only a little bit, you'll be able to FPV fly this airplane. It's a super duper easy plane to fly. Even though it is very, very windy over here. Yeah, very easy plane to fly. And it's not all that bumpy. We have a 3 to 4 Beaufort wind today. And yeah, you can't see it in the onboard footage, obviously, but most planes would make things look a whole lot more bumpy, a whole lot more. The only downside this plane could have for you is that it's pretty slow. It's never fast at all. Yeah, and it likes to glide as well. So you do need a bit of room for your landings. Again, we don't have a lot of room here today, so I'll probably... okay, I probably should be landing. Oh yeah, I don't have an OSD, right, with this camera. This Runcam Eagle does not have an OSD. That, yeah, might be a downside to you if you want an OSD. I'm simply relying on the timer in my radio. Okay, let's set her down in the field. Incredibly, we've got that truck over there on the road. That's kind of my approach over there, but oh well. And and this field might be a little more... Oh! Hot damn! I'm not sure if you were able to see that, but my video cut out completely. Hot damn! That was a scary moment. Somehow our airplane is still in the air. Phew! Okay, let's try that again. Better! Oh, that was a smooth landing. And as you can see from that plant right in front of us, this is not a super duper smooth field, but the landing, this was dead stick, and this plane likes to be landed dead stick. Contrary to what you might have learned in your flight school, if you fly this, or rather land this plane with, for instance, 25 to 30% throttle, it'll never come down. Oops, fence. Okay. Okay, I'm amazed that it could taxi on that field. I might actually be able to take off from that field. Okay, so that was my FPV Maiden. The landing was scary because of that loss of reception, but the plane lives to fly another day. If you have questions about the airplane or the FPV setup, hit me up a comment down below. Hit me up a comment down below regardless to, well, support my channel. Thank you very much, and catch you on the next video. Bye bye.
wanna go fast, gold on my teeth and on my neck. And I'm stone cold with the flex from the squad and I'm smoking up a check. Man, I just wanna go fast, gold on my teeth and on my neck. And I'm stone cold with the flex from the squad and I'm smoking up a check. She sending all her friends snaps, so we doing tracks. Cause all these